Hillary Clinton is doing everything she can to downplay the FBI investigation into her email server gaffe, now seeking to call it something less than what it is. This does not sit well with the FBI director and also brings up another issue. What will the nation do if she's elected president and then actually indicted? Here's another discourse few people want to actually entertain. Donald Trump snaps back when asked what tax rate he pays with the terse, "None of your business." But how deep into the past on a personal and professional level should we go in seeking the right person for the job? Have we not been hoodwinked before by a past no one knew about? And speaking of the past and its influence on the present, there were lessons to still be learned by the man who was more than a president to some. He was a father who led by example. Michael Reagan talks about his new book and the influence his father, Ronald Reagan, still exudes over America. And we're joined by two of America's bravest, revealing how long the road back from PTSD truly is. We question everything, unlike other shows led by partisan hacks. I'm Ed Berliner. This is The Hardline for Friday, May 13th, 2016.
I was very encouraged with what I heard from Donald Trump today. I do believe that we are now planting the seeds to get ourselves unified, to bridge the gaps and differences. And so from here, we're going to go deeper into the policy areas to see where that common ground is and how we can make sure that we are operating off these same core principles. But this is a process. It takes a little time. You don't put it together in 45 minutes. So that is why we had, like I said, a very good start to a process on how we unify.
It didn't take long at all for those who understand what really happens in the world of high-stake politics and running a government to come to one simple conclusion. The meeting between Paul Ryan and Donald Trump this week could have been titled the greatest show on earth for all it really did to settle the critical issues facing Republicans. Donald Trump's stand on a number of issues is in direct conflict with the GOP. As a matter of fact, a number of his opinions do indeed smack of more left-leaning than many who call themselves conservatives and Republicans are comfortable with. And to anybody with a working brain cell, this means one certainty: no peace, no real agreement, and a battle for the heart and soul of what is supposed to be and what will be the new conservatism, if such a thing exists. Add into this mix Trump now stating that all of his policy stances are merely suggestions. This where people want a powerful leader willing to state and stand by his or her platform. And a curious snap from the presumptive Republican nominee that should make every voter on every side of any coin ask themselves a deeper question about why they vote for someone and how they select their candidate. This is where the political animal slaps down the steel cage, gets to work with questions not everyone will be comfortable with, but you need to ponder. We will take in mere moments your phone calls on these issues, your reaction. Undoubtedly, there's going to be some fire here. Line up right now. Prep to dice it out with yours truly and our guests at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. Get on and save your spot. Here are the experts. Georgetown University professor and venerable Republican strategist, either way he likes it, Bradley Blakeman, joined by the veteran political reporter for the Bloomberg Network with chops at Politico and the Hill, Kevin Cirilli. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks. Let us get to work. Kevin, I'm going to start with you. Here's Donald Trump and Paul Ryan meeting. Now, look, let's be real here. We're not kids. We know they didn't walk out. They didn't agree on everything. Everything's not hunky-dory and kumbaya. But here's the bigger issue. A lot of what Donald Trump's policy statements have been over the last few months seem to be in direct conflict, not just with Paul Ryan, but with the GOP. Now, Trump's people say, we run the party now. We're going to run the convention. We take care of everything. But there's a lot of conservatives out there, a lot of powerful people who say, wait a minute, you've still got to come down to the conservative values that we believe we stand for now. Who's going to win this fight?
Donald Trump is going to win this fight. The question is Donald Trump going to be able to win over enough of the conservatives who still opposed him to win against Hillary Clinton in November? But let me be candid here for a second. Look, Republicans have been fighting for years. I mean, this isn't something new. The Tea Party versus the establishment Republicans, that's been going, I've chronicled that for 3 years in Congress on issues like trade policy, the Export-Import Bank, Dodd-Frank implementation. So this kind of a little bit surreal to be hearing some conservatives saying that is Donald Trump conservative enough when the civil war within the Republican Party has been going on for quite some time. Donald Trump is just a new player in that Republican civil war.
Okay, I get all that. But, Brad, let's go to you on this, though. It is still come down to policy. Conservatives have a policy, especially on immigration, on trade. These two things that Donald Trump is in direct conflict with them on. He does not agree with what the GOP platform is right now. So somebody has got to give sooner or later, because I don't think Trump's just going to go ahead and roll over and compromise.
There's going to be a deal, and it's going to be the art of the deal between Donald Trump and other factions of the Republican Party. And by the way, the platform of 4 years ago is not the platform that's going to be advanced in just a few months from now. The platform has yet to be written. And that's where we're going to see a lot of compromise, is when that platform is written. That is going to be the gospel by which Republicans will go forth.
But is that going to be good, Brad?
On election day.
Is that going to be good enough for the Republican Party to stay conservative, to stay Republican, and to card a victory over Hillary Clinton? Because we're talking about almost a sea change in many ways.
No,
wait a minute.
Hold on. Let Brad answer. Let Brad answer. I'm coming back at you, Kevin. Go ahead. Okay, Brad.
It is going to be good enough for not only Donald Trump to run for the White House. It'll be good enough for people running for the state houses and for the House, lower house, and in the Senate. That is for sure. Now, it doesn't mean that every Republican running for office has got to buy into 100% of the party platform. And the party platform is going to be nuanced by those people who are running for office. But the fact of the matter is, the platform is yet to be written. The compromises will be made, and we'll go forth united from the convention.
You're up, Kevin.
And that is what this is all about, the art of the deal. Donald Trump is being consistent this week with him when he says that he wants to have compromise. He wants to have those deals. That's what he's been running on even before he was in elected office. Look at his book from the 1980s, The Art of the Deal. But let me be candid here. You know, this is not about policy at all with the folks in Washington, D.C. This is not about policy. It's about personality.
Isn't every election, though? Hang on, though, Kevin. Wait a minute. I'm not going to let you get away with that easy. Isn't every election about policy?
Wait a minute, because if you look at the issues of immigration, of trade policy, of currency manipulation, if you look at the nuance of that, where is the separation between Donald Trump and the Republican Party? They don't like him. They're mad that he has not brought on his team. And I think what's going on behind the scenes right now is that he is looking to expand his political apparatus. And there's a lot of jockeying, whether it's from the Chris Christie political orbit. Of course, Governor Christie was one of his early endorsers. Or if you look at people from the more conservative movement, some people like Senator Ted Cruz, where are his staffers going to go? That's what this is really about behind the scenes.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead. 1-877 Newsmax. People, if you want to go ahead and join in, I'm going to give you, and believe me, there's a reason behind my madness here. You're going to get a 15-second shot to give us a statement on what we're going to talk about next, because here comes what everybody is talking about today. Gentlemen, Donald Trump with George Stephanopoulos on ABC this morning on the decision to hold his tax returns until the audit is over, at least what he claims is an audit is over. And here's what Donald Trump said.
Do you believe voters have a right to see your tax returns before they make a final decision?
I don't think they do.
And when you were seeking a casino license in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, you released the returns to the state officials even though you were under audit.
I am under audit now, and as soon as the audit ends, I'll release my returns. It's a very simple thing.
But sir, if you were willing to release your tax returns to get a casino license, why shouldn't voters see them before they make you commander-in-chief?
Well, because at the time it didn't make any difference to me. Now it does.
What is your tax rate?
It's none of your business.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. Brad, I'm coming to you first. He says it's none of your business, has everybody talking. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here, and I've heard from a lot of people today, career Republicans, who have said, you're damn right it's my business because you're running for president of the United States, and I as a voter. This is people calling me and talking to me today, Brad, who have said that I as a voter deserve to know every single thing there is to know about you, and you should be no different than anybody else. And this comes from some Trump supporters, Brad, so this none of your business is not flying with people who believe that a president needs to be completely transparent from A to Z. Your call.
It is not flying with me either. I got news for you. Running for president is a choice. It's a choice. You make a choice whether I'm going to run or not. And when you make the choice to run, there are certain obligations that may not be explicit, but they're implied responsibilities that you must take. And by the way, when I served President George W. Bush, I filled out forms an inch thick, where they turned me inside out on everything about my finances. And by the way, they made me fill out forms as I served to make sure that there was no dramatic changes in my finances when I was serving government. That was my choice, and I knew going in what would happen.
Okay.
And I did what I was supposed to do. I think Trump needs to do what he needs to do.
Kevin, I see you laughing in there, but I got news for you, and you know this already. I don't have to tell you this. Donald Trump is vetting vice presidential candidates, and they've told all their VP candidates, we need to see your tax returns. It's a double standard here. What are you laughing about?
Well, it's Friday afternoon and I'm on your show. I'm having a little bit of fun. But anecdotally speaking, my opinion doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. But here's what I will say.
Yes, it does matter.
In the past week, I'm a reporter. I'm not a pundit.
Okay.
In the past week, what we have seen is Donald Trump reverse his position on self-funding and self-financing his campaign. And his campaign has already set up a political committee to fundraise. So already he is fundraising. I've been all over the country embedded with his campaign.
And by the way, I just need to interrupt you for 1 second here on your answer, because Trump late today said he is ruling out using any campaign contributions to repay himself in the $35 million that he's got in there. So we got to give him credit for that. At least he's not going to go take the money and put it back in his pocket.
And I have asked people at all of his rallies in the past couple of weeks, I said, what do you make of this? And it doesn't bother them. Whether or not the tax return issue, which is a very fair criticism to raise against a presidential candidate, and something that quite honestly significantly hurt the 2012 nominee Mitt Romney with his tax return and that whole issue, I think this is a fair question. What we're noticing here, though, is that the same strategy that he was able to get away with in the primary in a very crowded field is not going to be the same type of stuff he's going to be able to get away with in a general election. Clearly, the Clinton machine and the Democratic operation really hammering away at this point. And look, he was asked about it earlier today, and the questions are going to continue. And I think that there is that fine line that he's going to have to adjust in a general election.
I love the fact that you're a journalist and you think about that first, Kevin. That's what I love about you. I only got 30 seconds left. Here's a quick comment from both of you. Donald Trump says everything I say now is a suggestion instead of what he would do as president. Your take, Kevin, 15 seconds.
I think the bottom line is that he's going to have to win over independents. The base is excited about him. The question now is, are moderate Republicans and more independent Republicans going to get on board? That's anybody's guess.
15 seconds, Brad. What do you think about it now? All being just suggestions.
Well, they happen to be suggestions, but those suggestions are going to turn into policy. That policy is going to turn into a platform, and that platform is going to get him elected or not elected, and personality. The elections are about, for president, policy and personality.
Let's be very honest here, gentlemen. Donald Trump does not want to be a politician. He is slowly becoming one in front of our eyes, because you have to be if you want to be president of the United States.
Right.
Brad Blakeman,
Well said.
Kevin Cirilli. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Up next, Michael Reagan on his dad, Ron. You got to hear this next on The Hardline.